Welcome back to another episode of Black Ice Reality Check, Hot Vegas Nights episode. We have a single lady on here that's 23, Shelbie Verdun. Is that how you pronounce it?
Verdun.
Verdun, sorry. Oops. I know your parents are watching too. Yes. Can we say a shout out to mom and dad?
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
All right, good. I'm the good guy. Don't show up here with a shotgun, Dad. Right? Okay, right on. So I'm excited. We do these episodes, and basically what this episode's about, we're interviewing and meeting with single women in the Vegas area that are either looking to date or have dated, or why they're single, what they're looking for in their life. And so we have this guest on here that we had a chance to meet, and we talked a little bit. She said, yeah, I'd love to be on your podcast. So let's start off with you. So tell people your age. You're 23 years old.
Yep.
And what is your background like? What do you do for a living primarily?
So right now I just got recently let go from my detailing job. So right now I'm just focusing on getting back into school. I'm going to go back to school to be an EMT.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm super excited
So
about
wait a minute, you detailed cars?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So
from start to finish. So we'd get cars that were just completely trashed, and we'd have to vacuum them out.
Like for auctions and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So like where abandoned cars, you got to like, you know those YouTube videos they have where these people like take some car that's been sitting in a field for a year?
Yeah.
That type of stuff?
Yeah.
Wow.
We do repos. We do all that. Rentals.
Were you part of the repos?
No.
Okay. I was going to say, wow. I'm like, hey, this lady wants me to give me her keys. What do I do, right?
Right.
That's pretty dangerous stuff, I think, repos, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I wouldn't do that. And then you had told me, I want to find out if this is true. You had told me that you like work on cars too? Yeah.
Me and my father, we just replaced the IMRC control arm in my intake manifold.
See, you lost me. That's Chinese, right? A control arm. I know what that is, but
yeah.
So that's like an electronic.
So it's the arm that allows the valves to open up.
And you did the work.
Yeah, me and my dad did.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I mean, to give credit to YouTube, good old YouTube mechanic.
Right, but you should have a YouTube channel where you're working on cars.
Yeah.
You'd get 1 million followers.
You think so?
Oh, 100%. Your dad's like, no, don't let her be. No, but seriously, a attractive girl having a YouTube channel working on cars, that's like, that's American 100%, right? Yeah. So now you told me, so you're single.
Yes, very.
Okay. Very, very. What you've dated? I knew you're young.
Yeah.
So have you been in a long-term relationship before?
Yeah, you could say that.
How long is long?
On and off for 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So you've been with like one guy primarily as an adult?
Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's good. I mean, it's good to a point because I know mom and dad are watching, but I'll get into this. So there's a thing called pair bonding. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I talked to a lot of young women about this. The trend now is all these women are like, oh, I want to sleep with more guys. And I'm like, no, don't do that. No. Because the likelihood of you pair bonding with a man, which means getting along with a man, you're connecting with a man. After you've been with 6 men physically, the chances of pair bonding with a man drop down to 25%.
Right.
Now, you come from a nuclear family. Your mom and dad have been together forever.
Yes.
Which is probably why you were raised in a good home. Mm-hmm. So the question is, your dad works. Does your mom stay home?
Yes. So when me and my sister were younger, she was a stay-at-home mom, and then she took care of her parents until my grandpa passed away back in November. So right now she's just basically doing a whole bunch of DIYs on the house, getting the house in order. Okay. Got it. So you had this guy for 4 years. What happened? What didn't happen?
And you don't have to use his name. I don't want you to use his name.
He's not worth it.
We're not here to throw him under the bus, right? We just want to.
I don't wish ill on any of my my exes.
All your exes? How many exes?
4. So
you've been with 4 men?
One girl, but
okay, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
So this guy, talk about it.
He had a lot of mommy issues, and he was like broken. And this was back like before I was diagnosed bipolar. I just got diagnosed back in November. And, it was just a lot of his family and him not being able to communicate his feelings properly, or him acting out irrationally, or just constantly overthinking. Like, our whole relationship was great. And then I'd leave him alone for like 2 seconds, like would be busy doing something, and he'd freak out. and like think I was off doing something else.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he had separation anxiety.
Yeah.
Now, did he come from a single parent household?
So his mother left him when he was like 3 years old.
Okay, there we go.
He kind of go back and forth between his dad's house and his grandparents' house. So it was just a lot of chaos at a young age. So
as a young man growing up, I had a similar situation where what young men tend to do is they'll go find a suitor or a partner, and they're looking to they subconsciously looking for a mom.
Yes. Yeah, and I do bring very motherly instincts into a relationship. You know, I cook, I clean, I do just about everything.
Wow.
And, you know, like if, say for, like he needed his smog done on his Mustang. So
I'm laughing in a good way. It's you have an attractive girl that works on cars, that cooks and cleans.
Well, it's funny too, because I got my Mustang after we broke up. Okay. So it was kind of like a slap in the face to him. Like, you could have had this, but you wanted to go do all the other stuff. Yeah. And, you know, he cheated on me with like a 35-year-old. And
so he went for the MILF, like the older lady.
Yeah. And then he told me that he like gaslighted me into believing that it was my fault he cheated.
So let's go down this road for a minute. Here's what you have to understand about men. Okay. Young men don't bring any value to the table at 18, right? And what I mean by that is men are judged by their success by women to a point, okay? And you can't take this out of context. Right. Women's sexual marketplace value is their peak is 24 years old. That's the best a woman's going to necessarily look to a point. Perfect. Men judge women based on their looks. 100%. Women judge men based on their success. Young men at 18 years old don't have anything. They have no abode. They have no home. They generally, I'm talking about the majority. So there's nothing of value. So when you're young, you're like, oh, I met a cute boy. That's what you say. Right. But that only lasts so long. As you get more mature as a woman, what happens is your parents are like, well, is he going to be able to take care of you? Right. Is he going to, are you guys going to be okay? Or are you guys going to be living in our basement the rest of our life? Right. If you had a basement in Vegas, where I'm from in Seattle, there's basements. Right. So what happens is your parents are in a nuclear family setting where the dad went out and slayed the dragon every day, provided the best he could for his family. Your mom took care. She was CEO of the house. Yep. Right. She took care of the home, and you guys, they had great marriage. You know, it's up and downs. Yeah. But then they look at your future husband and go, "Is this guy going to take care of my baby girl?" Right. So what happens is men's sexual marketplace value is 35 to 40. Okay. That's when their income generally peaks. Okay, they've established probably equity in a home. They've got some 401k, maybe some retirement, maybe some other investments. Maybe they have investments into a business, right? Right. And they've kind of not necessarily peaked out, but they're generally making the most money they're going to make. And it can go up into the 50s. Now what happens as the woman gets older, then her value, not as an individual. Now, I got to make this clear because I always go through this with DMs 24/7. The value of a human being is priceless. Your total marketplace value as a person is based on your character. Right. But your sexual marketplace value as a woman drops as soon as you get into 30s. Now we call it hitting the wall. And it's not based on looks necessarily, but it's also based on your character. Right. But what happens is a lot of the younger women in your generation, what we're seeing is they're going out partying. I liked your Instagram. Did you put her Instagram up on there? Okay. Your Instagram, you didn't have your ass out, your tits out. You weren't twerking at the club.
It's very wholesome.
Right. Okay. I'm glad you said that. But what they're doing is they're out partying 24/7. Then they get to 28, 29, and all of a sudden they have an epiphany like, wait a minute. What am I doing with my life? I need to slow down. Now I got to get a guy. Now they've been used and abused, and they've been through their body counts 20, 30 men. Right. Right. And now they're like, okay, now I'm ready to settle down. And guess what the 35-year-old's doing? He's looking for the 25, 26, 27-year-old like yourself that hasn't been used and abused, hasn't been out there twerking at the clubs. I'm not saying don't go out and have a good time. Right. But you've seen some of the girls. Yeah. They're in Dubai. They're in Bali. They're in Australia. Right. They're in Playa del Carmen. Right. They're in Malibu. And you're like, a guy is paying for that.
Oh, 100%.
And the problem is men don't want to be with a woman that's been with a lot of men.
Exactly.
Now, they'll sleep with you. Yeah. They'll sleep with you. but they're not going to settle down because they know that you're a liability and not an asset.
Exactly.
So the thing you got to realize is you have a value to bring, but you have to find somebody that's at that point where, as young as he is, he's still out and about. Yeah. He's spreading his seed.
Yeah, it got to a point where like we broke things off back in January, and it was fully on me because it was just kind of got to a point where like he didn't manage his money properly. You know, he would have bills due. He'd be asking people for money. And then another big thing for me is that everything that he did to me, like the cheating, the lying, everything like that, he would go back and tell his family it was reversed. So he would tell his family that I cheated on him. And then that made his family not like me anymore.
Sure.
So it's just hard to be in a relationship with someone that's when you're at dinner with him and his dad's texting you, oh, you taking the trash out tonight? And so it's just like, how can I be with someone like that?
Right. And again, especially in this economy, wherever America's going, I mean, our dollar's dropping value. Countries aren't respecting us. You're going to see more and more. I've read an article that 17% of Americans, 17% of Americans can afford to live on one income.
That's crazy.
So these young men, a lot of them don't have the he's got an income issue and a spending problem, right? Mm-hmm. Probably. But also right now for a person to live on their own,
it's outrageous.
It's outrageous.
Yeah, me, him, and my best friend Nick, we all got an apartment together back in May of last year. We had to break our lease because inflation just went up. It was crazy.
Yeah. And so what's happening is you're seeing the empty nesters, which is a term that in your 50s as adults, your children go off and leave the nest, mm-hmm. right? 18, 19, 20. That's how it used to be, mm-hmm. right? But now they're staying at home mm-hmm. because they can't afford to live. They're giving their moms rent. They're helping out around the home. Mm-hmm. Where I'm from, the Seattle, mowing the lawn that grows, you grow a foot of grass every day.
Right.
Right. It's insane. Here, I don't have to worry about that. Mm-hmm. But it's the cost of living is tough. So how long have you been single for?
Well, like I said, we broke things off in January, but we weren't together. We were just kind of, that weird stage of like not being together, but you guys aren't technically single. But I would personally say about 6 months. 6 months?
Yeah,
okay. And this is the longest I've been single since being in relationships, because all my relationships have been back to back.
Right.
But I figured on my newfound freedom, I've realized that if you don't give a person the power to hurt you, right, then they can't hurt you.
Sure.
And you just need to not, like, the reason I got hurt so much is because I had high expectations for these people, and they wouldn't come through with it, so it just got to a point where I'm just like, if I'm talking to a guy and he's able to break down the first layer, I'm kind of like an onion, like I have many layers. Mm-hmm. If he breaks down that first layer, it's just kind of like I hit the brakes, because it's just like, okay, are you going to be like everyone else and get to know me and then just dip? You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's real frustrating. So lately I just haven't been, like, if someone wants to talk to me, I'm not opposed to having a conversation with them, but I'm just not interested in finding someone, because I'm still trying to navigate this new world of being bipolar. And I've done a lot of reflecting by being alone, mm-hmm. and how my toxic traits that I do have, and I know I have them, how I can work on them for my future relationship. Being able to communicate accordingly and not getting so heated in the moment, just taking a break and stepping back from it. Right,
but you're aware.
Yeah.
This is the key, and I want to address this. You're aware of your challenges.
Oh, of course.
Okay, I don't want to say a problem, because it's a problem when you don't address it.
Yes.
It's a challenge that you need to learn how to live with, mm-hmm. and work with, if you're cognizant of it. Mm-hmm. And that's the key, because I've been in relationships where that individual was aware that they had the problem but didn't address it.
Right.
Are you with me?
Yeah, no, I get it 100%. I've lived with this ever since I just got diagnosed back when I was 22.
But what I want you to do,
it's been a while.
This is what I want you to do. You were diagnosed with it, but get that out of your mind.
It doesn't define who I am.
Great, good. That's my point.
But in order for me to have a successful way of living, I have to overcome these challenges that I do face with having my disorder.
Okay.
But I don't let it define me. You know, I meet someone and right off the bat, I tell them like, hey, listen, because it's not something I want to hide.
So let me ask you this. What challenges did that present to you in a relationship?
Oh my goodness. It was a constant roller coaster. I'd be in a great mood and then something, the slightest thing would happen.
So were you having
me off.
Okay, but are you when you have challenges in a relationship and you're arguing, do you say you have to accept me being ornery to you because I'm bipolar?
No. I haven't been in a relationship since being diagnosed. So back when I didn't know what I was dealing with, that's just who I was.
Right.
My mom says I'm a horse of many colors. So it was just like the tiniest thing would set me off and I would just go off for whatever reason. And I was the type of person in a relationship that when something bothered me, I just kind of like swept it under the rug and just until it got bottled up and it would just kind of explode all over.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you something. There's a thing called neurologic programming. I just talked about this on another episode. Do you go to counseling?
Yeah.
So your psychologist or therapist should know about neural language programming. Now, I'm sorry, neural linguistic programming. Under the section that falls under, it's called reframing. What a reframing is, they learn to work with you and address issues that trigger you emotionally. Yeah. Because women by nature live on emotion. Are you with me?
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking women. I'm just saying guys are logical. Like when your mom's like, you know, she'll ask your dad a question. He comes back with logic. She doesn't want to hear that.
Right.
She's on emotions.
Right.
Right. And he's like, no, technically the flex capacitor and the she's like, what? No, you just need to tell me this. Right.
Right.
Or you're watching a movie and she's asking him questions and he's like, babe, I'm watching the same movie. I have no idea.
Right.
Right. So I make a joke. I tell my girlfriend, look, you can only watch PG-13. R's too complicated. Right. She'll ask me 30 questions in 5 minutes.
Right.
But she's acting on her emotions.
Yeah.
And so neuro-linguistic programming focuses on 5 areas. One of them is called reframing. And so your therapist can work with you on that. It's how do you look at a topic that triggers you and how to look at it in a different light. Yeah. Instead of the front of the hand, the back of the hand, and then how to work around the emotions.
Yeah, I've done that personally.
Okay.
I have. Another thing I thought was interesting that my therapist made me, like, she gave me homework one day was what were they called? Distortive. It's where, like, how your brain, cognitive distortions. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Yep.
And she gave me homework. And so I obviously took it home, showed my parents or whatever. And every time I started, like, thinking a certain way and I was doing it out loud, my mom would run over to the paper and be like, this is the one you're doing right now. So it made me very aware of being in that mindset and how it's unhealthy to be in that mindset.
Okay.
So it's also another thing that I've done. So
here's what I always talk to people about, and this is the modern day that we live in. And this is, I like having you on this podcast, and I say this in a positive light. You're 23 years old. It's funny because I'll get women in their 30s that don't get it.
Right.
They're bitter. So this is what I'm going to tell you. Your parents, right, and my parents or grandparents, they got married in their early 20s or their teens, right? And then what happens now is you'll see women like yourself, young lady, wait.
Right.
Because they're going through stuff.
Right.
Right. But you say you're not looking, which I get, but you should always be available in your mind for the right
100%.
person.
No, 100%.
Because what happens is you'll see on TikTok, you've seen it on Instagram, 41 years old, they're doing the dance. I'm available. I just got divorced. And the 41-year-old thinks that when she was your age, because I've seen this growing up, okay, when they were your age, they attracted everybody.
Right.
Right? Then they get divorced or they're married or they're single or they're career women or whatever. And then they get to 41 or 40 years old and they expect to get what they got looking like you.
It's not like that.
It doesn't happen.
No.
And then there's no good men. Men are assholes. They're all pigs. Blah blah blah.
I feel that way now. But
you gotta understand this. Look, men, and I'll say this. There's two types of guys. Okay, there's high value men, right, and then there's the average guy. And there's nothing wrong with average men.
Right.
But you got to understand. And I'm going to say this, and it's going to be hard for you to digest this. Women, when they cheat, it's based on an emotional connection. Generally, the husband's wife was at work with a guy, and the husband and her were fighting, whatever, and then she built this relationship with this guy, and then they went to lunch and blah blah blah, and then she accidentally slept with him, right? And then she's like, oh my god,
right?
Guys are different.
Yeah, 100%.
But when you're dealing with men that have a lot of options,
they're gonna go and do it regardless. Right.
So but here's the problem. There's a flip of the coin. Young men were full of testosterone. When I was 18 years old, I was saluting 24/7. All I thought about was, it's all the guys thought about was beer and women. Like it's funny because I made a joke, but now it's kind of funny now because of the Bud Light advertisement. Right. The Dylan, right? The transgender gal. Mm-hmm. My friend and me had this joke, and we go to the counselor in high school. Okay. And they said, you're going to lean and go towards what you think about all the time, right? Like what you think about 24/7.
Right. And guys don't think with this head.
No. And she's like, the counselor's like, what do you like to do? Oh, I like women.
Right.
And Budweiser.
Right.
I'm going to be a bud girl, right? Like you're going to evolve into what you want. That's all guys think about. They're 18. Right. So here's what happens. Men at 18 are on a sex run because we were built to breed.
Of course.
Biblically, God says be with one person, but we're animals. Men are simple. Food, fun, effing, and football. Right. That's it. Leave us alone. Don't talk too much. Make us a sandwich. Right. And all men want is respect. Right? And peace. That's all men want. Men are easy. Women can get complicated around that because of emotional needs. I get that. But then you get the guys that are going in their 30s, right? Now they're kind of slowing down. I'm not going to go to the clubs, the bars anymore, whatever. Right. So my question to you is, what are you looking for in a man? What does that guy need to look like? Identify that guy. And if you haven't, you need to do, okay, so you got this down. Okay. Yes. So what's the oldest the guy has to be?
25.
Okay. Now here we got a challenge because the guy doesn't have any money yet.
Right.
I'm not telling you to date an older guy. Right. But 25-year-olds.
I've gone after 27-year-olds.
Okay. Right.
So, I'm not 27's like my cutoff. Like I won't go any older than that.
Okay.
But I don't know, like my typical guy is someone that's sweet and caring and attentive, and someone that understand. Like a big problem in my last relationship was I told him that, hey, I got diagnosed with this, and he didn't bother going out of his way to do any research on it to help him understand better. I want someone that's going to be like, okay, so you're feeling this way, so how can we keep you from feeling this way ever again? You know what I mean? And someone tall. I'm pretty tall.
Okay, so here we go.
I would like someone tall.
How tall? 6 feet?
Yeah.
Okay, how much money do they need to make?
It doesn't. They just need to make money.
But they got to be a provider.
Well, yeah, of course they need to be a provider. But I was growing up in a household where, yes, dad went out and made the money and mom stayed at home. But my mom's also raised me to be independent and not have to rely on a man.
Okay, but here's the problem. That mindset is what hurts you in a relationship because it's not about relying on a man. If you're independent in a relationship, you're independent. Right. Right. Your parents are codependent on each other. It's funny. And I know what your mom meant, but at the same time, your dad's not independent. Your mom's not independent. They're codependent. Yeah. That's a relationship. You can't go in a relationship thinking I'm independent. I don't need a man.
Right. No, that's not how I think. I just if I was to never find anyone, for example, if I was to never find anyone, I wouldn't be happy, obviously, because we need that companionship because we're humans. But I know that I would be good because I am capable of being dependent on myself. Okay. So
do you want to? So do you want to get married one day?
Yeah, I want to be married by the time I'm 26 and have my first kid by the time I'm 28.
Okay. Do you want to raise your children, or do you want daycare?
I want to raise my children.
Not your. I know mom and dad want to be grandparents, but
not yet.
Okay, but do you want to go to work and leave your baby with daycare?
It'd be for the first couple years. No, I'd want to stay at home.
Okay, so
back to your question, what you asked me, I would like them to make at least enough to support me when I decide to make that decision to raise my child.
Okay, so what does that look like?
Probably 100.
100K. Okay.
Or 2.
So now here we go. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
6 feet tall, 6-figure income.
Uh-huh.
6-pack abs. I'm joking, but I'm not. Okay, it's the
dad
joke.
bods are in right now.
But they're in for a reason.
Right.
Because most of the women say that because they can't get the guy that's in shape that makes 6 figures, 6-pack abs. Now hear me out. You just described a guy that's 6 feet tall, 6-pack or 6-figure income. Sorry, that's the top 12% in America. Mm-hmm. Now out of that, they got to be single.
Obviously. I would hope so.
Right. But 90% of the women are going after that same guy.
Oh, no, 100%.
So for you, you've already addressed that you can cook and clean.
Oh, yep. I can work on cars.
You can work on cars, but that guy will probably take his car to the dealership to be serviced, like I just did.
Right.
Because the new cars you can't work on.
No, you can't.
I've tried it, and
that's why mine's an 07.
Right. No, and I'm a muscle car guy. I like the '66 Chevelles. I like the '55 Chevys. I had a big block of Chevelle. That was me. But I drive the new cars, which I don't want to touch a button because my car.
Know what it does.
Yeah, I took my car to the Mercedes dealership and it needed exorcism. They were going to call a priest from the Vatican. It's like, dude, what's this thing doing? She's talking to me. There's no accident, and the lights were going off. That scream. I'm like, whoa, right? So you can't work on it. But here's what I'm telling you: you have potential. You're attractive. You're feminine. That's the key. Right?
Because I don't look like this every day.
No, feminine isn't based on look, it's based on mindset. Like you don't have a masculine personality.
Okay. Because
what happens is men don't want an argumentative, combative woman, a boss bee. They don't want to deal with that because the high value men, which he is in a sense, top 10% income, he wants a woman that's going to be submissive to the cause of the family.
Yeah.
Okay. When I say that, that's a negative word sometimes to women, right? Submissive. Oh, I'm not going to listen to a man.
I don't mind it.
Right. But he's also got to treat you like a queen.
Obviously.
So for him, he's going to go out and work. He's going to provide, protect for the family. Mm-hmm. Right. And then he's going to want you to cook, clean, and take care of the household. And together you guys can elevate your game. Mm-hmm. So you have a 90% better advantage than most of the women I talk to. Because most of the women on these shows want it all. Modern day women want it all.
I'm literally I'm like bare minimum.
No, but this is
and then some, because I know my worth and I know I'm worth more than just the bare minimum. But I've at this point in my life, I'm just kind of going with the flow. And I've gotten to a point where I'm not going out looking anymore.
Well, you shouldn't look.
That's all I've ever done is gone out and look.
But you have
I'm waiting
value
for them to come to me.
Yeah, you have value, but you also have to be receptive.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you're not open to people approaching you to a point, then, you're 23, you got 3 years. So you want to have kids in 3 years or be married in 3 years?
Be married.
Okay, yeah. So that guy that you're looking for is out there, and they're looking for a woman like you.
And they just have to have the same values as me.
What are your values?
Just typical, like the morals of everything. And because I am not the type of girl, like I'm telling you this right now, I can have a sneaky link, but I have a emotional connection with them, right? Sorry, mom and dad. But then like I am not the type of person that can go out to a bar, meet someone, hook up, and then never talk to. I'm not that person.
Well, generally women don't do that, but the 304s will. That's right. You know what that means, 304. That means, I don't want to say it, but that's a WHO. Yeah. So I don't want to get demonetized, but there's women that do that. Either they're drinking too much or whatever, and this one night stand.
I've known people that have done that, and I'm just like, I mean, if that's what you want to do, then you do that. Yeah. But I'm just not that like. And the thing is that makes me the most like irritated about dating in this generation is I am good enough to sleep with, but I'm not good enough to have be in a relationship with. You would not believe how many situationships I have been in, 2-week trials, whatever you want to call them, because all they want to do is get in my pants.
Which most guys do.
And it's so, but like I'm the type of person that if I already have an emotional connection with you, and you were just like, hey, what's up? I'm 9 times out of 10 I'm gonna reply to that because we already have an emotional connection. But if you're I can't stand that guys just can't be upfront and honest about it. Because like if you're not looking for a relationship, cool, just be honest with me.
Okay, so I have a question. This is bringing me to the next area. if, let's say you were with a multimillionaire. Hold on. What?
No, because people that make a lot of money aren't monogamous.
That's true because they have options.
Exactly. I don't want to be with someone that has options.
But you're going to be with a top 10% man.
I don't care.
But that's what that person's going to have accessibility to.
I don't care.
So if you don't want that,
nope,
then you're both going to have to work.
That's fine.
Okay, so then that changes your outlook, right? Mm-hmm. So the 6 figures might not be viable. I'm not saying that all men cheat.
Right.
But all men, high value men have accessibility. They have options.
Exactly.
Right? So you have to realize that, okay, he might be an average guy. Mm-hmm. He might not make 6 figures. Mm-hmm. And you're okay with that. Mm-hmm. Okay. So to provide for you to get, like nowadays, the it's expensive to live, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that money, when you have a child and you're looking at the cost of living and income and all that stuff, I mean, you're looking at $7, $8 grand, $10 grand if you want to have a good lifestyle.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? It's a conflict.
Yeah.
So you have to understand, men, if they're going to do it, they're going to do it, right?
Right.
So
they're going to do it regardless.
Yeah.
Just in their nature.
But women too can do that.
Oh no, 100%. I'm
right?
not saying women don't. No, they definitely do.
So
it's not this one.
Right. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do for a career? What's your deal? What you want to be EMT?
EMT, yes.
Okay.
Be in the back of ambulances going to accidents.
And you're going to go to school for this? Mm-hmm. How long is school?
6 months.
And then you start off and
then they place me in a firehouse making anywhere from $27 to $35 an hour.
Okay. So
I'm sure then once my money is growing, my more thought process of having a non-average guy, high-valued guy will change.
Right, but you see where we're going?
Yeah, it's basically all in the view of it's from your perspective of how you're sitting in your life right now.
And here's the worst part: your ex-boyfriend didn't make any money and cheated on you.
No.
So that's why I said, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen regardless.
Right. So you might as well go for the big money. I'm just saying, right?
I guess it's more beneficial that way. But,
I mean,
But money-wise, now what about the emotional connection? Because I'm sorry, but as soon as you cheat on me, bye. Deuces. I don't care how much money you make or how much money you give me. Mm-hmm. You can give me $20,000 every time you see me.
But do you realize, and this is where it gets really controversial, and I've had several talks on this. Do you realize that men, when they cheat, it's not because they don't love you?
No, I know.
So it's
because we're not fulfilling a need.
No. It's not that at all.
What is it?
That's how we were built. If you go back, and I'm not saying it's morally right.
They're hardwired.
But if you go back, thousands of years,
right?
Kings had concubines, mm-hmm. right? All these famous, Alexander the Great, right? Mm-hmm. All these people of high valued men had multiple girlfriends.
Of course.
Genghis Khan had 6 wives, mm-hmm. right? And so if you look at some of the people in the Bible had 700 wives and 600 concubines. The point is that it's not about that you're not fulfilling a need.
Right.
It's a driven instinct biologically in men. Even though I don't agree with it, I'm
also choose to do it though.
Right. They have a choice.
You have a conscience.
Right.
You're like, okay, I have a woman at home that does everything that I want her to do and everything like that, but I'm still going to go out and do this, even though it's going to hurt her if she finds out. That's why they do everything they can not for you to find out. Yeah, well, they suck at it. Girls are FBI agents. We're going to find out about it. Yes, they are, but then don't be one. You know what? You got a point there. Right? 9 times out of 10, when you go looking for something, you're going to find something. Okay, so I have a question, and this isn't related to you because your Instagram's pretty plain Jane. Yeah. If you had your boyfriend, was he liking other girls' Instagrams? Yeah. Okay, so let's say, did that bother you? No. See, that's good. I don't care. That's good because I had girls on the show that I don't like it that he hearts other. I said, but guys are hearting yours. I've heard so many horror stories about social media with relationships. Like, oh, my girlfriend made me unfollow every girl I followed on Instagram. Like, no, there's no point in that. Like, at the end of the day, you're the one he's coming home to. Who cares? Even if it's a bikini photo that he's liking, like, who cares? Like, it's honestly, you scroll through Instagram, you're not seeing who's posting it. You're just seeing if it's a nice photo. And if you happen to like the photo, then you're going to double tap. It's out of habit. That's how Instagram works. So beside the man cheating, who wouldn't you not date? And 27 is your limit, but who would you not date? Who would I not date? Why would you not date a guy if he was, let's say he's under 27 years old? Okay, like, gotta give me an age.
He's 27.
Okay.
Why wouldn't you not date the guy? What would cause you to say no? Because do you get approached weekly?
I don't go out enough.
Do you go to the store? You go, look, okay. Here's the thing.
When I go out to like the bars and stuff.
Not a bar.
Okay, so then no, I don't get approached because I have this thing called a resting bitch face, and it's very intimidating. So people don't want to walk up and talk to me. And I'm okay with that.
Why don't you smile?
Because I just don't.
But you're smiling now.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna fake a smile.
No, I know, but
I'm not just gonna walk around all day like that's creepy.
No, it's not. Not if you're happy. Why? You can be happy though.
I can be happy and have no emotion on my face.
Are you a social person?
Depends on the situation.
Do you have to drink to be social?
I don't drink.
Okay, so you don't drink. So who do you go to the bars with?
My best friend Sammy.
Girl?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you get approached at bars?
Yes.
Okay. So do you turn down all these guys that approach you?
Yeah, I actually had this one guy approach me, and he was like the CEO of this tech business, verified on Instagram and everything.
Why'd you say no?
Just wasn't interested. We didn't click.
Okay.
There was no spark.
You expect
no butterfly.
You expect a spark right away.
I mean, we talked for like 5 hours at the bar.
Okay. Do you have any guy friends?
I have one.
Okay. Are you guys close?
Yes, but I know where you're going with this.
No, you don't. You build a relationship with the guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but him and I are like strictly friends.
I didn't say that.
Not my type, but
it took you a while to build that bond.
Not really.
Okay. So if you got in a relationship, would you still be friends with this guy?
Of course.
So do you think that'd get in the way of your relationship?
Nope.
Why?
Because I'm very communicative, and so is Nick about what this is. I'm not obviously if my significant other doesn't like me hanging out with him alone, I can respect that. But just like if he had a really good close girl that was a friend, I wouldn't want them hanging out.
I don't have girls that are friends.
I mean, you do you, boo, but
the problem is guys can't be friends with girls to a point. That friend of yours is a friend of yours because you told him you're friends.
I mean, he did try getting at me, but I turned him off.
Okay,
I was
stop.
like, no, absolutely not.
Your friend tried getting with you.
Yeah, a while ago. Like a while ago.
But you hear what I'm saying. Here are your rational thoughts. Babe, I've got a girl that's a friend that wants to fuck me. Let's call a spade a spade.
Right.
But I said no. Right. But I'm going to continue to talk to her while I'm in a relationship with you.
Right.
That doesn't go over well.
No, okay. So
yeah,
let me.
Right?
But I'm not also going to just cut off my friend just because my significant other wants to think that there's something going on.
But if your mom had a guy friend like that and your dad wouldn't put up with that.
Well, there's this thing called trust in a relationship.
But still, it's disrespectful to the man.
Well, I mean, I guess it just depends on each other's point of views, and you guys have to sit down and communicate about it.
Right. So where
you guys both are coming from.
Right. So this is a good area we're in. This is a topic because men find that disrespectful if they're a girl or woman or wife or whatever, significant other, has a relationship with a guy friend, let alone the guy friend wanted to get with them.
Right.
Now that's a violation. That's a code 31. Well, I'm joking. Code 31, red flag, right? It's not even a code 4.
If it became a problem in my relationship, I would knock it.
Yeah,
I would, because he's coming to me saying, "Hey, I don't really like that you're friends with him.
Okay,
so let's not do that anymore."
Yeah, and I'm not talking about you're dating a dude to figure it out. Once you date the guy, okay, you're dating him, then you get in a serious relationship. Then it's like, okay, babe, look, here's the deal. I know, and this is just me.
Right.
This is just me. And most high-value men, most men that they're successful think the same way. I don't want to hang out with, no pun intended, I don't have women as friends. I don't have time for that.
Right.
There's no value. I got a girlfriend. I'm not going to hang out with some pretty girl.
Right.
I'm a guy. What's the value? What's the ROI? I'm busy. You're busy. But if I start dating a girl, she's like, I have this guy friend and he's not gay. Okay. Mm-hmm. And we've been friends for a long time. Men know men.
True.
It's not that men don't trust you. They don't trust him.
Right.
We trust you, but we don't trust him because we know his intention. He's friends with you until you decide one day, hey, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. He would say yes. No, you won't.
He would.
Okay.
No.
So that's my point. It's not you. And women have a tendency to think, oh, you don't trust. No. I trust you. That dude, that was me when I had no skills, I had no game, I had no value. I was hanging out. We're called the outliers. We're waiting for our opportunity for Steve to slip up.
Right.
And you call me in the middle of the night. You're at the bar by yourself drinking, and you need an emotional friend. Guess what? It's 2 a.m. I'm jumping up. I'm meeting you at the bar.
Yep. Been there, done that.
Right.
Yeah. You're right. Absolutely.
Well, it's just I've been around a while.
Of course.
And I've seen it, and I'm like, okay. But then as men build their value, then we see the red flags. And again, it was, hey, we've been friends for 10 years. I trust you. That dude. I see when we're together, I've seen women's guy friends check them out when they walk away. I'm like,
100%.
Okay, dude.
Right.
Okay. So now do you have a lot of single girlfriends? Yeah. Okay. Why?
All my friends are single, except for one of them.
Why are all your friends single and you're single? What's going on? Talk to me. Well, you said that there's a lot of challenges with men right now. What's going on?
So my friend Sammy, I mean, she's talking to someone, but she just got out of a really long relationship, so she's not really quite ready to go jump back into something else. My friend, she lived in Colorado, just got out of a really toxic marriage. So it's just everyone's just kind of solo doling it until someone comes along. You know, that we just hang out and have a good time, and if guys approach us, we talk, we entertain it. But if I'm not receiving anything that's going to add value to myself, I don't entertain it for long. Okay.
So you have 5 girlfriends and you?
So me and then my 2 single girlfriends. Okay. And then my best friend that I've had since I was 8 has a baby. Is engaged to an asshole, but we won't talk.
Why is he an asshole?
Why isn't he an asshole? That's the real question.
But see, you're the single friend. Do you tell her that?
All the time. She called me on the way over here. She's like, who should claim Asher on the taxes? And I was like, obviously you, because you do more. It's a long thing, and 9 times out of 10, I just like tune it out because I'm just like, she's coming to me to validate her feelings, to make sure she's
Do they live together?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
I'll have to tell her to come on here. That way you can.
So do they share income?
No.
They don't share income.
No.
They live together, but they live separate.
Yep.
So that's not.
Yeah, I told her that. I've told her that.
All right. Well, we won't get into your girlfriend's challenges.
I'll tell her to come on here.
All right, good deal. So your Instagram's open. Mm-hmm. You what if a guy DMs you and says he saw your Instagram and he wants to talk to you?
Cool.
So you're open to that?
Of course. Okay,
so you're not standoffish. No. You just have a resting bee face, is what you said.
Yeah, and I'm very particular on who I associate myself with, because you're only as good as your peers, and I don't want to associate myself with bad people.
Talk about that.
Like back when I was like 2018, 19, I got in this really bad, I smoked pot. I started dating my pot dealer. It kind of just all went downhill from there.
Well, sure, it's legal now.
Well, obviously, but
his income went down. You're like, I ain't interested now.
No, it wasn't his income. It was just, it just kept it sent me down the wrong path, on a path I never wanted to go down in my life. But shit happens, and I've come back from that. If it wasn't for my family, I'd probably still be in that situation of being hooked on drugs and scrounging for a fix.
What, when you say hooked on,
I was hooked on coke that was cut with meth, but I didn't know it was cut with meth until after I did it.
Okay. But you wouldn't have got involved in that if it wasn't for this guy. Yeah. And you chose this guy.
Yeah. I did.
So you have to do a better job of evaluating who you decide to be 100%.
with. 100%. And that's another thing when it comes to I probably have 12 DMs right now that I haven't opened because I go to their feed and I try to see what they're about, and it's 9 times out of 10 it's just posts from 5 years ago. Just I don't know, you're a different person now.
Oh, you mean their posts, their pictures aren't updated? Yeah. How are they finding you?
Through mutual followers.
Okay.
See, I don't want something that's going to start off of social media. I want something organic.
That is okay. Okay, stop. This is the thing. Mom and Dad's listening to this.
Yeah.
That's why they call it social.
Oh my God, whatever. No, it's over a phone. I don't want it to be over a phone. I want it to be in person. But I want to be taking out.
Look, I'm going to give you an example. What if, when I was in high school, we didn't have all this cool technology.
Right.
We only knew the girls that were at our high school. or we go to a football.
Right, but 9 times out of 10, you went after the girls that you knew from your high school.
No. I didn't want to be around these girls, right? Because you don't shit where you eat. Like, you don't date somebody from work. You don't. We've all made that mistake, and we're like, oh my god, the guy from the gym, right?
Right, I've seen that.
And then you can't go back to the gym, and then he's with the girl Sally, Lisa, and all the other girls, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're on social media, there's no borders and boundaries, mm-hmm. right? I'm not saying get on a dating app, okay? But you're on one. Which one?
Bumble.
You're on Bumble.
I don't. No.
Nah, hey, it's okay.
No,
but you just okay. But now you just
okay.
Stop. You just got caught because you said
when I get bored. When I just said it. Okay, but when I get bored, I'm just like, what's out there?
But you
when I'm laying down in bed and I'm watching a podcast, I'm just like, oh, let's go.
But you just said you wanted to meet people in person, and now you're on Bumble.
It's to fill the void, okay?
Okay.
It's to make it seem like I'm trying.
Wouldn't it be better if a guy met you off of Instagram instead of Bumble? He's not on a dating app.
Yeah, I guess.
There you go.
But it's the same thing, though.
No, it's not.
Think about it. All Instagram needs to add is a dating place, just like Facebook, and it'll be boom.
All the bar needs to do is be a dating place.
Okay, you got a point there.
Right?
Yeah.
Men are men. I met my other half in Tucson. She's in Tucson. Oh you know what's in Tucson? Tumbleweeds.
Yeah. No, I've met.
No, wait. I'm in Seattle. She's in Tucson. Had a similar Instagram like you. I started liking her meal prep pictures. Mm-hmm. She went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then she flew up. I flew up again. Then I flew down. Then her family back and forth. Then she moved to Seattle. Mm-hmm. 4 years later, we're still together. We live in Las Vegas now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I tried the dating app, but I kept getting women with cats and blue hair. I'm like, what is going? And the face took up the whole square. I'm like, something's not right here.
Right.
I got a great personality. And then they'd get a list like this. So your requirements, what are your top 5 requirements in a guy? We talked a little bit about what's the number one thing you look for. Tell me what the first thing you want from a guy. Is it looks? Is it spark?
Okay, but this is the thing. I want to talk to you about that real quick.
Okay.
So a guy can be a 10, right? Ideal, like, oh my goodness, all the girls want him, right? He could be a 10. His personality could be a 4, and he's unattractive to me. Mm-hmm. Where for me, your personality can be, if I showed you some of the guys I've dated, you'd be like, why? But to me, if you have an amazing personality and we vibe really well together, I'm more likely to fall in love with you because of your personality, and then the attraction will come later on.
I'm going to say something to this. You're young. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something. Personality don't pay the bills. And
I understand that. But
when you get old, wait, hold on. When you get older, mm-hmm. like I'm going to talk about mom and dad for a minute. Okay. They ain't gonna be mad. They've been together how long?
29 years.
They've been together 30 years. Mm-hmm. They know they're sitting next to each other. We're getting called out.
Their chairs are right next to each other in the living room.
They know that marriage is about respect, mm-hmm. loyalty, and duty. Yeah. It isn't always about happiness. Right? Mm-hmm. So what happened with the people in the generation, my generation, their generation, we saw that the new I got to be happy. There's got to be.
And that's the thing about social media is that it sets unreasonable expectations for relationships in this generation. You know, you see all these Instagram perfect relationships and everyone wants to go
nobody
after that.
Nobody has a perfect relationship.
No, and that's the thing. But we're being told as this younger generation that's what's on our screen is what is considered a perfect relationship. And so when people don't have that with other people, that's when they tend to fall out. You know what
your mom used to watch? Her mom? They used to watch Days of Our Lives. They used to watch soap operas, right? Yeah. And then the moms thought that was how a marriage was supposed to be, mm-hmm. right? And then a Hispanic, her mom watched novellas, right? And you're like, what's going on? What's going on? And then you start watching these reality. Now we have reality TV shows. I
love reality.
We didn't have that. They watched. I'm telling you what your mom. You want me to tell you what your mom watched? They watched Gilligan's Island.
Yep.
Right. They watched the Jeffersons. Mm-hmm. They watched All in the Family. Mm-hmm. Okay. I grew up with that stuff. Right. Right. And then you're like, oh, okay. And I love Lucy. I'm going a little older. Right. Yep. This is the stuff of Scooby Doo.
Love it.
Right. And now you got these reality shows, and you're like, how do people drive $700,000 cars? Right. Right. And then the young girls see it. How you have a Shelbie GT Mustang, one of 12 made, right? Right. So you have to understand that marriage is about duty, responsibility, and honor. Your job is to raise children and then leave a legacy, but you're not always going to be happy. Right. So you said the guy doesn't have to be a 10, but you have to like his personality. I respect that. Beyond that, so personality's number one, not looks.
Right.
What's number two?
Height.
6 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and number three.
Comes from a good background.
What does that mean?
Like, obviously, it's very uncommon to find people my age that has parents that are still together.
So the guy has to come from a nuclear family?
No. But has to have like he was rounded well, like good morals, and he knows how to treat a woman. Because half of these guys out here, dogs.
You want a traditional man?
Yes.
No, open
like
for you.
Blue collar.
No, well, he can be white collar traditional. Yeah. Traditional man is a provider, protector, opens doors, chivalry, right? Yep. Mm-hmm. And then he wants a traditional woman, which you said you'll fit that role, which I like. Mm-hmm. That's good. And I understand what you're talking about because I had a guest on here. Shout out to Rico Hundo. He was on here. He said he will only date women that come from a nuclear family. Yeah, mom and dad at home.
But how old is he?
He's 27.
See, I feel like I mean, that's how old my sister is. So
I think he's 27, 26, 27.
I hate to cut this off, but can I use the restroom, please?
Absolutely. We'll do a pause for a commercial break. What's our commercial? We're live here. Guys, if you're in the chat, we can do super chats if you want. Make sure you like the chats, get the algorithms up. We're taking a commercial break, bathroom break. Sponsored by the way, am I on video right now, Trey?
Yeah, I haven't shut it off.
So I have a new product coming out, as a nootropics product that will help you focus. It's called HV Alpha. It'll be out at the end of the month. It helps if you have ADHD, if you want to focus, gives you energy. If you have anxiety, and this product it's got a proprietary blend in it, and it should be launching at the end of the month. It's called HV Alpha. So I'll talk about that more when it comes out, and then I'll have the link in the description box. If you guys have any questions in the super chat, go ahead and ask those questions now while she's on a bathroom break. How organic is Bumble? Yeah, that's a good question, Scott. Not too sure. I've never been on it, but yeah, I think the problem that a lot of younger people face is that there's too many people in that generation have so much accessibility to things. We didn't have cell phones, right? In high school, we didn't have, we had pagers that came out. And then when phones came out, they were so expensive, nobody could afford them. We had limitations to who we met. We had to meet people in person. So I think the new thing and challenge that the young generation faces is they want validation. They want, they have accessibility to everything. And so they assume that all that accessibility they can obtain. So we're back. Right on.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So what were we talking? We were talking about,
traditional men. Yeah,
traditional men. So the good thing is that you fill that traditional need. You're willing to fill that traditional role, right? And the thing is that's a good thing that you guys look for. Now, my question is this. This is going to be a tough one for you.
Okay, hit me.
If your mom and dad don't like the guy, will you still date him?
Yep. Done it before.
Okay.
But I will say that if now, being 23, I probably wouldn't. Now, back when I was rebellious and a teenager and they didn't like my drug dealer boyfriend, it pushed me closer to him and further away from my parents. But I hate having a relationship where it's a constant stress on my relationship with my family. Okay, so I have a question. Mm-hmm. So your vertical alignment, not trying to get biblical here. If you believe in God, yes or no? You
don't have to.
I do, but okay. I don't go to church or study.
No. You're not a Bible thumper. I respect that, right? I believe in God. So God comes first, right? Mm-hmm. Then you put your husband second, mm-hmm. right? Then you put yourself third, and then your children, right? So if your mom, I would not do that. That's why people have challenges. Because if my mom told me, I don't like who you're with, she's not paying my bills, living my life. That person comes before my family, because if I marry that person, I'm supposed to leave my family and put that person as a priority.
Yeah, in a marriage, but not in a relationship.
Okay, so here we go. So if you're in a long-term relationship, you live together. Right. You don't have a contract signed by the government.
An LTR.
an LTR.
Yeah.
And this has happened.
I wouldn't mind an LTR.
And so, but what I'm saying is when I was looking for a girlfriend, I wanted to make sure she was independent, not because I'm a bad guy, but if her mom said, "Oh, I want you back," or "I don't like this guy," is she going to fold under the pressure? And I'm not going against your parents.
Right.
And I think they'll respect this.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, you're an adult. I can't have every time you have a hiccup, your mom wanting to pull the rug and say I'm a bad guy.
No. My personally speaking for myself, not other people, my family isn't like my ex, the one that cheated on me and talked poorly to my family, to his family about me. My mom still loves him, but it got to a point where him and I just didn't work together anymore.
Sure.
My mom's absolutely, there was not one point in our relationship where my mom was like, I don't like him.
Right.
Because she's seen him for what he was and not his face value.
Do you talk to your parents about problems in your relationship?
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Because I trust their advice.
Okay, but what happens is now just what you just said is she didn't see him at face value. Because she's hearing the negative. Now she knows the good, but she's hearing the negative. And so I always recommend, this is just me.
Yeah, no, I've learned now to keep parents out of relationships.
Like my mom's like, "How you guys doing?" "Great."
Right.
Like, and I don't share a lot with my family. This is just me. I'm the lone wolf, the black sheep, right?
Yeah, that's the thing though, is that my mom is my best friend. I'm literally her mini me.
So he has to compete with mom.
Oh yeah.
See, I'm not, Mom, I ain't trying to steal your joy, but hear me out. And she'll respect this. You have to have a little bit of a arm's length separation.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because when he goes into this covenant with you and you guys have a family, he wants to have a little bit of distance from mom.
Oh, no,
I'm not going against your parents, right? Okay, I respect your parents. They've been married 30 freaking years. Right on. You guys need to have a shot if you drink. If you don't.
They're going to get up right now and go take a shot.
Okay, yeah. Shout out to mom and dad because they made it through the thick times, the trial times, and they both know that they've learned how to adapt, and they're a good model for you.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm telling you, the problem right now is everybody wants to pull the rug and run.
Yeah.
When shit hits the fan.
It's fight or fight.
And it's like, dude, work through it. I understand. But
I'd rather work through it with that person 100 times than starting over with someone new.
Right. And the other thing, too, is make sure, I tell people this, if you're in an LTR or you're married, go to counseling before you decide to pull the rug.
Of course.
Problems
because can always be worked through.
And then if you do everything you can, then at some point you're like, you know what? But remember, the grass isn't greener all the time.
Of course.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
So
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So how come? So my last 2 relationships I was in, right? They got the rebound pregnant.
Well,
why is that?
Because they have sperm and she has an egg.
Obviously, no shit.
And they had unprotected sex.
No, but
I mean,
no shit. But I'm just saying, it's not even 6 months after. It's literally a month after.
Okay. First of all, and I don't want to get into your personal, birth control, right, or not. It wasn't like they said, "I'm going to go get a girl pregnant." They didn't say that.
They didn't say it, but they thought it.
They weren't trying to get a girl pregnant. Were they trying to get you pregnant?
I mean,
you don't have to answer that.
No, I'm not going to because my parents are watching. But
hear me out. It's not like nobody. Go ahead.
But see, my thing is that I've had my exes come out and flat out tell me, and I don't know if this is them gaslighting me or whatever. But I find it funny because it's just how are you going to make me the reason you got her pregnant? But they would literally tell me, "Well, I knew it was the only way it was going to break the bond between you and me."
That's bullshit.
What a shitty fucking excuse.
That's bullshit. That is a mechanism they're using to make you feel bad.
Exactly.
Okay, here's what happened.
Tell you to go out and
here's what happened. It was a coincidence that both of them got these girls pregnant. Okay, so they're out. There's no condom. She's not on birth control.
So my follow-up question is, do you think the next guy I get into a relationship with is either going to be the how everything happens in threes? I don't know if you believe in that type of thing.
My grandmother used to tell me that. Yeah.
So everything happens in threes. So this has happened to me twice now. So does that mean I'm finally going to get my knight in shining armor? Or is it going to mean that we're going to date and then we break up and then he's going to get his rebound pregnant? I'm just genuinely curious.
I think you need to have something written down on a piece of paper. Literally. This is what I did. Write down the top requirements you need in a relationship. They're non-negotiable. The rest of the list is flexible. And off that list, if you have 30 things, you can be flexible in some areas. Right? But you have to choose better. And this is what I'm telling you. Hear my heart, not my words.
Okay.
You're better off, Mom might not want to hear this, being with a man that's in his late 20s or 30, because they're going to be a little bit more stable. They're not going to have the time to play Xbox or Sony PlayStation, smoke weed, drink milk.
They're not going to want to play the games.
Right. Not that they won't, but hear me out. They probably have a solid career, job, or business. They're working 40, 50 hours a week. They might have a condo. Maybe they're renting, or maybe they're getting a house.
Right.
They don't have the luxury of screwing around as much. And at the same time, they're like, okay, I want to have a family. And he's saying at 33 or 35, he's 30. You're 23, you want to say 26. It works out. He's a little bit older. I'm 22 years difference.
Right.
With mine. I didn't plan it. I wasn't like, I want some young hot chick. That was not it. I'm like, I ain't dealing with that drama. And then it was like I had a lot of liabilities, baggage, and, from the older gals. And it wasn't that I wasn't attracted. It just happened. My point is that I think you need to choose and realize, hear what I'm saying. I believe 90% of the guys in their 25 and below are going to be a hot mess. And only because it takes a while. I didn't find myself till I was about 27.
Okay.
I was in the service, didn't know what I was going to do, dodging bullets in Colombia, doing this, got out. What am I going to do? Selling cellular phones. And then I got in the tech space, and then I figured it out. And for the last 2 decades, I've been in the technology space as a consulting firm. But my point is, the older guy, and if you think about it, when you're 23 and 30, that's a big difference. But as you get older, it's not. Right. He's going to be a little bit more stable. You're a diamond for him. He's like, oh my God, look at this little hottie. She wants to go. Oh my God. Like because he's been with all the floozies. He's been with all the girls on IG. Like they've been with all the guys. You just got to choose, and you got to understand that don't make it about the age, but make it about the quality character that you mentioned, the connection. Right. He's got some money. He's not going to be... Are you with me? Yeah. Because if you do that, because I guarantee you, 27, 26, 25, and I'm not beating up these guys, I'm not beating you up, but you know what I'm talking about. They're still trying to figure it out. And because guys' income comes later in life. Right. Are you with me? Yeah. So I think, I don't look my age.
You look young.
Okay, say how old I am. I don't care if I expose myself.
Like 45?
Okay, I'm 53.
Oh, wow.
I'm older than your mom.
Yeah.
So my point is this.
You look good.
Thank you. I got props. But here's my point. Don't make it about the age. I'm not saying go with a 53-year-old. No. But make it about the quality. Okay. And, if the guy's 30, 31, 32, and he looks like he's 28, but you know what? He's solid. He's stable. Okay. And now he's like, dude, I want to get married and have a family. But all these women, by the time the woman's 30, she's been with 20, 30 dudes. Here you at 23. And I have this conversation with mom and dad. They'll be like, they'd rather see you safe and protected and a provider with a man that's 30, 31, 32 than a guy that's 25 that's going to run you around town and then he's fucking your neighbor. Not to your neighbor.
That'd be really awkward.
No, but you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Choose. It's all about choices. You control access to sex. He controls access to marriage. Men are all the ones that always propose. Right. Women are the ones that decide to open their legs, as crude as that sounds.
It's true.
So what I would say is just be selective. And if a guy smile, I'm just kidding. But there you go. See, there you go. You're at Smith's, and a guy walks by and smile.
Well, no, I do.
There you go.
I'm not just like, I do.
Right. And then he's like, hey, I'm so-and-so. Exchange information. Maybe you just exchange IG and not phone numbers. I don't know if that's the deal. And then the guy, he's like, oh, he golfs. He looks like he works. He wears a tie, whatever. Or maybe he's a blue collar worker. Well, fine. Right. Oh, but he's 31. So what? Right. He's done. He's not. Look, he's done
going out trying to find something else.
Not necessarily, but the probability is that it's down a little bit.
Right. He's out of the party every weekend stage.
Because he has a responsibility, because he has to keep his career. He's trying to go to a manager level, maybe a director level. Maybe he's trying to be the foreman of the shop. Maybe are you with me?
Yeah.
So I would encourage you to do that. I think you'll be good. Is there any other questions before we end this? Come on, you got to have one more for me.
No.
No?
I think that's it.
Well, that's good. Well, hey, here's what I want to do. I'm starting this thing where I want to bring people back in 90 days.
Okay.
To see what, if anything,
there's a change.
If anything I said kind of stuck, right?
Okay.
And I don't have all the answers. I go based upon people I've talked to, the experiences, the studies, the groups I've met with, the books I've read, and what I see in life, right? But I always think that some of my advice is really good. Some could be okay. Some could be great.
It's really good.
But what I'd like to do is get you back here in about 90 days and see if we can see what's changed.
If anything.
Right? And thanks, Mom and Dad, for watching.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks again for being on this podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this video, and make sure you hit the bell, the notification indicator for future videos that we put on the podcast. Stay strong. We'll see you soon.